jumps into action when an armed man attacks. How deputies say he was able to stop the rampage coming up.
Also this, back at it, what police say this man was caught doing at a Walmart that he's been caught doing before.
Plus, on the rise, a new report reveals some disturbing trends when it comes to pedestrian fatalities across the country. What that study also shows about New Mexico, still to come. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Today is Monday, March 14th. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll get to those stories in just a bit. But first, we're checking on that weather.
Yeah, right over to Kristen Curry. She's looking at what's changing as we head into this new week. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We are looking at warmer temperatures than what we had over the weekend, but when it comes to change, no change with the winds. Unfortunately, those breezy to windy conditions we had both Saturday and Sunday, they're back today. So let's first start with the good news. Those temperatures are warmer to start today compared to yesterday as we continue to sit in the upper 40s here in the Duke City. 51 out in Tucumcari, TRC at 49. Las Cruces also in the upper 40s, but Carlsbad, the warm spot, still pushing upper 50s at this hour. Doppler radar clear of rain and snow, but we do have some cloud cover out across western 2/3 of the state this morning. Allergy report. Unfortunately, juniper still up to high. Elm also going to cause some problems today, and allergies will continue to crank across really the entire state for the next couple of days as winds continue. Not only this afternoon, they return tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Temperatures will actually get cooler heading into midweek, but it's all about the winds as we finish up the winter season. I'll break down today's forecast. We'll also take a look at that new 7-day here in just a few minutes.
New this morning, alarming numbers out showing pedestrian crashes are on the rise across the nation.
And New Mexico's numbers are among the highest. News 13's Sarah Yingling is in the Newsplex with more on that. Sarah?
Adam, the report, which is based on state traffic fatality figures, shows a 6% increase from 2014 to 2015. It could be one of the largest year-to-year increases since 1975. That report shows that New Mexico has one of the highest rates for pedestrian fatalities, with 1.01 fatality for every 100,000 residents. The Albuquerque Police Department says most of the time it's the pedestrian's fault. APD says most pedestrian fatalities are happening at night, outside of crosswalks. The Central Corridor seems to be especially bad for pedestrians, with a lot of accidents happening from Washington east to Eubank.
What we're seeing the most of here in Albuquerque is the pedestrians being intoxicated, crossing illegally, crossing outside of crosswalks, really at no fault of the drivers.
Despite the study showing New Mexico has one of the highest pedestrian fatality rates, the State Transportation Department says that number is actually down since 2014. That's when we saw 71 fatalities. The next year, the number dropped to 48. Of course, pedestrians aren't the only ones to blame. Driving distracted or drunk driving can play a big part of this as well. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Sarah. APD suggests pedestrians use the crosswalks at intersections where it is well lit, where drivers will expect pedestrians to be. On to this now. An Albuquerque man accused of touching children inappropriately in the past is behind bars this morning for allegedly doing it again at Walmart. According to a criminal complaint, a 10-year-old girl and her friends were walking through the Walmart near Central and San Mateo on Saturday. Police say Levi Hopkins followed her around the store, grabbing her butt 3 separate times. Hopkins was arrested, and investigators say he confessed to the crime. Turns out he's done this before.
The aggravating factors that we do have, Your Honor, is a history of repeated crimes of a similar nature.
I'm also considering Mr. Hopkins a danger to the community at this point.
In 2004, Hopkins was arrested for exposing himself to and touching kids near this East Side apartment complex. He's now facing criminal sexual contact charges for the latest incident.
Developing this morning, investigators in the capital city of Turkey are trying to determine who's responsible for a deadly explosion. More than 30 people were killed in a car bombing in the Turkish capital of Ankara. And again, that happened near a busy bus stop on the city's main street. This was the scene last night, moments after the suspected vehicle bomb went off. Authorities do say that attack was targeting civilians. This is the 3rd devastating attack in Ankara in 5 months. The motive is unclear this morning, but just 2 days ago, the U.S. Embassy there warned citizens about a potential terrorist attack.
On to this, Al-Qaeda's North African affiliate is claiming responsibility this morning for a deadly mass shooting there. It happened in the Ivory Coast overnight, claiming dozens of lives. Authorities say armed men opened fire on beachgoers at a popular resort town. A French citizen was killed. There are no indications that any Americans, though, were hurt or killed in this attack as of this morning.
Happening this morning, Nissan is recalling more than 47,000 Leaf electric cars after reports of the brakes not working. U.S. safety regulators say cold temperatures can lead to a software problem that makes it difficult to operate those brakes. No injuries are reported right now.
A 19-year-old Albuquerque man remains behind bars this morning after a failed attempt to get away from police. APD says an officer was arresting Jonah Lucero for pot possession. That was on I-40 near Rio Grande yesterday. He slipped off his cuffs. Lucero then ran straight into onto I-40 and was struck by a car. He kept going, but police were able to tase, then arrest him in a nearby parking lot. He already had a warrant out for drug possession and distribution. This morning, he's facing drug possession and running from police charges.
Time is 6:06 as you wake up today. Federal investigators say they are still looking into exactly what caused a deadly plane crash near Espanola. That happened Friday afternoon. Since then, News 13 has learned the two victims' names. Those victims were 46-year-old Karen Ann Young and 47-year-old Thomas Spickerman, both from Los Alamos. At this point, Young is believed to be the pilot. It's unknown where the single-engine plane came from or what caused that crash. A gas station regular is being called a hero this morning after stopping an attacker. Police say a masked man came into the 7-Eleven early yesterday morning swinging a hatchet at a customer and the clerk. Officers say he did not demand any money, but he was threatening everyone, and that's when one of the victims, a licensed concealed gun carrier, took out his gun, shot the guy. Deputies say the man likely saved the clerk's life in doing that.
Had this guy not shot, who knows what would have happened. We might have a dead clerk right now, and instead we have a dead bad guy.
The man was too shaken to talk with reporters, but charges are not expected to be filed against him. The case is still being forwarded, though, to the county DA.
Buzz this morning about a possible new iPhone, but don't expect it to be bigger. Apple announced it's holding its next press event on Monday, March 21st. A new smaller iPhone will likely be introduced. It's rumored to feature a 4-inch display like the one on the iPhone 5S, but with an updated chip and camera. The tech giant is also expected to unveil a new iPad. Wonder if that's going to be a little smaller as well.
Yeah, I wonder why they're going to a smaller screen. Maybe because people thought it was a little too big to fit in pockets or something?
I think the iPhone was, what is it, the 6 is too big.
It's a little bigger, yeah.
That is way too big. Where do you store that?
I don't know. I end up having to put it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
It's just too big. All right,
It was a bang, almost like thunder.
On KRQE News 13 this morning, a couple comes to the rescue. How they were able to pull a man out of a fiery wreck, plus what the driver says happened.
Also this.
If somebody bought this guy a sandwich or this other guy a sandwich, they will be sitting in jail with these guys here shortly.
The search is over, but this morning the investigation continues. The latest on a police probe into how 2 prisoners escaped and who may have helped them.
And happening today, orange barrels are back. What you need to know about a major construction project hitting I-40 this morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Krista Gutierrez.
I'm Adam Atchison. Good to have you with us. It is Monday, March 14th. We're going to get a look at the weather forecast for this busy week.
You know, I thought the winds were coming to an end, but Kristen Curry says they're back today.
Yeah, they're back with a vengeance, and unfortunately, they are here to stay for the next, I would say, at least 3 days. We'll go ahead and get started with a look at the Doppler radar to start, as we have some cloud cover streaming in from the west. Nothing in the way of rain or snow, though. Another dry day across the entire land of enchantment. Notice those temperatures, though, warmer to start today compared to yesterday. Most of us across central and southern New Mexico still pushing 40s. We do have 30s up in Santa Fe, Taos, and even Durango, with a cold spot being Alamosa down to 29. Temperature change. We are significantly warmer here in the metro and across the western 2/3 of the state. Slightly cooler out across the northeast and east central areas, but breezy to windy conditions. That's what we're talking about today. And although we did squeeze out some snow over the weekend, we're back to the dry conditions in the sunshine. So I'll break down this week's brand new 7-day forecast for you coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Thanks so much, Kristen. We start with news happening today. Drivers heading north on Louisiana may want to find a different way to work or school this morning. Construction will have the street down to 1 lane. News 13's Catherine Zone is at Louisiana and I-40 with all the details. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Now, workers are reconstructing this road all the way from the overpass where I'm standing now to Constitution. But that's not all. New Mexico DOT is also shutting down this eastbound on-ramp for an estimated 2 weeks. They can either use San Mateo or Wyoming and continue to head eastward. Mexico Department of Transportation suggests commuters use an alternate route. They say with the scope of this project, that'll probably be your best bet. Thing is, this is a popular area. You have retail, fairgrounds, and residences. It's no wonder then an average of about 20,000 cars pass over the eastbound Louisiana off-ramp every weekday. That's 100,000 cars in 5 days. Yes, the off-ramp is getting a makeover too. Bell says they'll reconstruct the concrete, resurface, and add another left turn lane onto northbound Louisiana. Our goal is really to just increase traffic flow, keep traffic moving. Now, luckily, the on-ramp and this stretch of Louisiana are the only things you have to worry about right now. That off-ramp isn't scheduled to begin construction until the 29th of this month. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. To see the other phase-by-phase closures by date, we have it broken down for you on our website, KRQE.com.
6:33 as we start the week. A second escaped inmate is back behind bars as multiple state agencies begin looking into whether he and another inmate had help while they were on the run. Authorities spent days looking for murderer Joseph Cruz and armed robber Lionel Claw. The intense manhunt took over parts of the city last week. State police say the men escaped from a transport van headed to Las Cruces on Wednesday. They think the men made a run for it when the van stopped in Artesia for gas, then somehow made it to Albuquerque. Cruz was caught Friday. Police nabbed Claw in an apartment in northeast Albuquerque Saturday morning after a woman living there tipped them off. And now people in Albuquerque are asking how this happened in the first place.
You kind of wonder, but I mean, who knows the circumstances, but yeah, you really wonder how that could possibly happen.
It would be good to, say that, yes, we've made changes to policies or we're increasing our procedures or something that would help that this may not happen again.
Police say they are questioning the woman whose apartment Claw was found in. Investigators also plan to interview their family, friends, even corrections department employees.
On to this developing story. Authorities are looking for a missing 70-year-old man. New Mexico State Police issued the silver alert for Thomas Adams. He went missing Saturday morning. Take a good look at the picture on your TV screen. He was last seen in Los Lunas and is believed to be in danger if he's not found. Adams is 5'10", gray hair, blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a woodland camouflage field jacket and blue jeans. He may be wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers baseball cap and have a green backpack, that is.
Also happening now, several people are recovering from injuries that Albuquerque police say were caused by a drag racing crash. APD says 3 cars were involved on Sunday morning. It happened just after midnight near San Mateo and Candelaria. Witnesses told officers on scene that the cars had been racing before the collision. APD says one of the drivers is being investigated for a DWI this morning and had a stolen handgun that was found in one of the cars. Residents in the Heights say sharing the road with racers can be nerve-wracking, but street racers say they need safe areas to race.
Racing is not going to stop. The best thing I could say is let's just get with the city and try to organize things away from the city together. Let's work together, not against each other, but together.
APD was given an extra $60,000 recently to help battle street racing. So far, no arrests have been made in connection with that crash.
On to this morning, an assistant coach for UNM football is in big trouble, accused of driving under the influence. Head coach Bob Davey confirmed the arrest of Apollo Wright in a statement late last week. Davey says he will continue to monitor the situation as it unfolds, but called the matter, quote, obviously disappointing. No other details about the arrest were given. This news comes after claims that a 19-year-old Lobo football player raped a female student last month and held her against her will.
Also happening today, the trial for a man accused of stabbing a father to death over a baby is expected to continue. In an earlier trial, a jury determined Michael Fox was not guilty of first-degree murder, but was deadlocked on the second-degree murder charge. According to authorities, last year, Fox gave a couple and their baby a ride. They say he got angry when the baby started crying. It all ended, again, according to authorities, with him stabbing the baby's father to death. Fox says it was self-defense.
On to news out of Texas this morning. A former New Mexico priest charged in a 56-year-old cold case is expected to be in court. According to local CBS affiliate KGBT, 83-year-old John Fight will see a judge at 9 o'clock this morning. That's just in a few hours. He's accused of killing beauty queen Irene Garza back in 1960 after hearing her confession at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in McAllen, Texas. In the years after the murder, Fight served as an administrator at the Servants of the Paraclete facility in Jemez Springs. That's where he oversaw priests sent there for counseling. He was extradited from Arizona just last week.
Let's turn to a live look in Washington, D.C. And as you wake up today, the 2016 presidential candidates continue to crisscross all states, holding critical primaries tomorrow. That includes Florida, Ohio, and Illinois. Meanwhile, candidates on both sides of the aisle are accusing Donald Trump of inciting violence at his rallies.
What Trump has done is like a case of political arson.
He has turned the most important election in a generation into a circus.
Trump, though, is pointing the finger at protesters, the media, and Democratic rival Bernie Sanders for those disruptions. Right now, Trump is still favored to win in the winner-take-all state of Florida, but trails Ohio Governor John Kasich in his home state.
This morning, a Massachusetts couple being hailed as heroes after an act that likely saved a man's life. Listen to this. The couple says a wreck happened right in front of their home Friday night. After hearing a big crash, they say they rushed out to find an SUV on its side after it smashed into a utility pole. The truck was filling up quickly with smoke, and that's when they called 911. Then they climbed up in the truck to help the man out of the SUV. Police say the man was drunk, but he denies that, blaming the crash on a mechanical failure with the truck. He's facing DUI charges this morning. Still, he says he is grateful the couple was there to help pull him out.
He may be lucky, too, that they were able to
Oh,
save
yeah,
him.
absolutely. And they just jumped right into action.
Yeah. A cut